she needs clay to come up. So Nicole, are you thinking you're at a good distance?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's what, about 1/2 inch? Okay, so now she knows she's got plenty of clay and she's gonna bring it up.
You're gonna wanna take your finger and you're gonna go from the bottom of the clay and you're gonna kind of put force on the clay, but you're also holding on the inside with the other hand. You're just building up. It looks simple, but it's really not. So you wanna be careful.
Okay, a couple of things to think about is there's all that thick chunky clay at the bottom and she's thinking I've got to elevate this up. So she is probably pushing with more force than she realizes toward the bottom, and she's thinking about lifting it. So her finger is as far down on the outside as it'll go, and her finger on the inside is as far down in the bowl as it'll go, and she's lifting it up. And then as she gets towards the edge of her container, her cylinder, she's going to slowly lighten her grip, because if she doesn't lighten her grip, what'll happen to the clay? She'll pinch it in, she'll smash it, because it's not as thick there. Okay, she's still got quite a bit of clay left that she can bring up yet too. The other thing is, notice how she's going the speed of the wheel. So you want to think about your fingers are going to come up about 1/8 of an inch for every revolution. So if you think in terms of spin, lift, so obviously it'll look smooth, but that's about what she's doing. She's lifting the speed of the wheel. If your wheel's going faster, you got to pull faster. Your wheel's going slower, you have to pull slower. Pull again. Well, how do you normally do it?
With a sponge.
Okay, do it with a sponge, that's fine. Show multiple ways.
I usually do it this way, it's a lot faster.
Wider surface area, so she's moving more clay at a time. You guys are welcome to try all these techniques and figure out what's comfortable for you.
And you don't want your clay to wobble out. You want it like, before you fix your lip, you want to make it so it's the lip of the bowl or whatever is in, because when you're pulling up, it will easily wobble out, like break.
Well, I think the challenge here too is, you see how she's always in one spot? So she always wants the clay pulling through her fingers and not pushing into her fingers. And then the hardest part when I watch people do this is you'll forget to keep your elbows locked in and you'll start going with the clay. And then all of a sudden you're like standing and moving and your pull point keeps moving with you. So you want to try really hard to make sure that you stay in one spot and you just lift straight up from the wheel.
You think your lip or whatever, uneven, you want to take this tool and lightly go like this around until basically
Go a little.
like that. Sometimes you might have to stop your wheel. You shouldn't have to, but I just did.
Well, if you go a little lower too. Yours wasn't. So she's doing step number 11 right now. And you might not have to do step 11, but it's good. I would like for you to do it just to practice it. So now you guys, she could actually pull up a little bit more. Once she starts pulling, now her bowl can be thinner. She can go to like 1/4 inch thick or even thinner than that. And that's one of the benefits of throwing on the wheels. You can make it a little more delicate than when you hand build. And sometimes you might get to this stage and you're pulling up and then you realize you're off center and it does something weird and bumps and ruins it.
Sometimes I get off centered, but usually I can fix it.
Yeah, when you're pulling up.
You guys don't want to get off centered.
You will, and you'll scream and then you'll be mad because you have to start over. See what happened to you pulled a little faster at the end? So see how her rings around it aren't even? And the other thing I was going to say too, when you pull up, do not go back down. Once you start pulling up, you got to go all the way through till you're off of the pot, because otherwise what you're doing is you're thinning the bottom and it's going to get thicker right above your fingers, And then if you stop and push back down, you're like making a weird uneven spot in the middle of your pot. All right, do we want to do 12 and 13? Have you smooth the lip and have you use the molding tool to